Right, that's a 46mm nut in the middle of that gear, and thankfully managed to get that undone. I had to get a socket obviously to fit it, and I had to turn the socket down because the OD was way too big to go into the recess in the middle of that gear. So this was a job done on our old Colchester Student, which is probably going to be sold soon or given away if anybody doesn't want to buy it. But yeah, that did a decent job on that. Very, very good. And yeah, that is a really close fit in there. So yeah, socket bolt turned down, and it's a 3/4 drive socket, and I didn't have anything that would work without. I don't do 3/4 drive sockets, so I had to go and buy one. Well, no, I got the socket. I had to go and buy extension bars and a big breaker bar. So I needed the extension bars to come outside of the cabinet so that I could get some leverage on it. So big extension bar. I think we've got 400 and 200. I actually ordered two 400 bars, and they didn't have, the supplier only had one, so the guy who ordered it for me got two of the shorter ones, 200s, and we've got away with just using the one. But yeah, chunky bit of ironwork, steel work, and to turn that, we've got a big long breaker bar, 900mm long, and then I had to put a 900mm piece of tube on the end of it, so that we had 1.6 meters of leverage. Cracky, that thing was tight. And on the other end, I'd bolted this plate to the front of the spindle flange, and that just butts up against the towel stock there. So that held this end securely while I turned the nut. And as I say, yeah, thankfully it did come free. My God. Still, that's done. So let's get the socket out of there. Let's get the gear out. Let's get the nut out. And then the gear can come out, and that's just on 2 keyways. A little bit of rust in behind it, and then from the other side the spindle can come out. The thrust bearing on it, and reveals a funky kind of bush inside there. Don't know quite what this is. Bronze with what? PTFE spots inside it? I don't know. I'm hoping this is okay. That's a bit mucky in there. It's quite sludge. That can't be good, can it? So we'll give that a good old clean up. I still need to take this off because the piston, or the part that actually does the push and pulling, is in here. That's the bit that pushes and pulls, and which I was really trying to get at to see if there are any seals which are not quite doing their job. So we have still got to get this piece off. I've got some new high tensile bolts to put in here. I had some soft ones in there before, and I think when you're screwing them in, the ends of the bolts get a bit mushed, and then when you undo them, the mushed end of the bolt kind of messes up the end of the thread in the piece. So hopefully these will be a bit stronger. Let's see if we can actually push this thing off. The idea is to undo them evenly. I'm going to try and do them in pairs. I don't know how well that's going to work. That's what I've been trying to do anyway. Kind of a quarter of a turn at a time. Oh, that's quite tight. Heck. And you undo those two and that loosens all the other. No, it doesn't actually. Oh wow, okay. Let's try that one. And that one. Wow. This is going to be a struggle. So I'm trying to keep this straight as I'm pulling it off. So let's measure how far this is. 44, 45. If I zero that, and then I've got comparisons in the other positions. Let's see. Minus 125, so that needs to come out more there. That's 0.24. Minus 1.14. Right. Bit more at the bottom, bit more at the back. Oh, that does not want to heck. Let's have another measure. Okay, that's about where it was. Now that still wants to come out a millimetre. Yeah, I'll tell you what, stupid. I've still got some bolts in here. That is dumb. Yeah, that's not going to help matters, is it? My extracting bolts are fighting the holding in bolts. Not clever. Oh, okay. Right, see if that's made a difference. Okay. Oh, this is so tight. I think it is budging, but that is okay. That's yeah, I think that's moving. Wow, that's tight. That is proper tight. And then the ones at the front here are not doing anything. I'm just tightening up these, and these are just, this side is coming out. Okay. Whoa, that is tight. That's coming though. That is coming. Thank God. I did think for a moment it was going to be properly jammed. Now that's coming. You can see it's moving. Yep, that is coming. If that will just fall off, I'll have to be watchful for that. I need something to actually catch it. That is so crooked though. That is proper crooked. Much bigger gap here than there is at the back. Oh, how strange. There is a dowel pin round here, and I'm thinking that's what it's stuck on. And there. There's one here, and this is pulling out of the casing. This one down here, don't know what's happening to that. I think it's just plain stuck. Wow. Yeah, I don't really want to pull this side out any further. Heck. I could almost do with holding this side in. But I think my bolts, the original bolts, are going to be too short now. If I put that back. Oh, that's only going to be in by about a couple of threads. I think I need to find some longer bolts to hold this side in while I'm pulling that side out. Right, I've got a couple of bolts holding this side in, just there and there, which is either side of the dowel pin. So they've held that in, and I've just been gradually tightening the ones up on the other side. And I've now got it to a stage where this is, I'll measure this round here, 0.01 that says. I had previously 0, let's 0 it again. So that's a reference. And on the opposite side where the other dowel is, .09, so that's pretty damn close now. And that up there, 0.08, and down here, 0.16, plus 0.16, so that's out a bit. Okay, but that's pretty close. So we're now pulling this out square, and you can feel the gap all the way around. Just run your finger around, and that's pretty even now. So maybe we can continue bit by bit and pull this out. I guess what I need to do now is just gradually slacken these off, because it seems as if you push that side in and this side pulls out on its own. So this is the tight side. Right. Finally, this is loose. So I I'll just take this bolt out I put in there to support it. Oh. Yay. Well, there's a fair bit of crud in here. That's the other side of the seal though, so I don't know if that matters. I don't know where it's come from unless it's just old grease. And we have a big fat O-ring there. That's the main hydraulic seal. Looks like just an O-ring. Well, I'll take that out, clean it up. This, why does that not move? Blimey. Okay. So on the back side, that again, that's the cylinder that that's the piston that pushes and pulls. Is that slightly cocked over? I don't know. It's a bit manky, a bit rusty going on here. Oops, we got there a thrust washer with a bit of crap in there, in that hole. What is that? Don't know. Well, we'll clean that up, see if we can get that out of there. Well, that's the piston. I just knocked it out from the back side. It has to come out the front. I don't know what that is. Definitely a bit of muck that shouldn't be. And there's some muck in the back here, which I don't think matters. This is that's a bit rough. So I think that would, wouldn't hurt to try and polish that up a bit. That's a bit nasty. You can see some scuff marks on there. Scuff marks on this piece as well. Bit of wear, not too bad. A bit of wear on that bit. So there's an O-ring runs on that, there's an O-ring runs on that, there's an O-ring runs on this. All not as good as you... Oh no, definitely not as good as you'd think they ought to be. Plus, the O-ring in this bore was broken, and I don't think it broke as I pulled the piston out, knocked the piston out. I think it probably was broken before. So I don't know, maybe that might have been causing some of our problems. And a bit of oil. Let's mop that up. And the remains of that O-ring feels a bit... What's going on there? That's not right. It's kind of squashed and dented. And what? Oh dear, no, that does not look right at all. Let's see if we can get a close shot of that. Oh dear, no, that is proper mangled. What the heck? don't know, that may be what's been causing us some problems, I don't know. Definitely not right. That's a bit broken. What the heck is that? Don't know. But, well, something not quite right there, that's for sure. Oh, what on earth? Wow. I need something to poke that out. Or pull that out, rather. What? Nah, that's not right, is it? That is something definitely not right about that. Oh well. Well, at least it looks like all that effort in taking this apart has found something. We've actually found a problem. That would have been so annoying if we'd taken it all apart and found everything was fine, but no, that's definitely not fine. Huh. So, two keys on this shaft, which is what the gear drives the shaft through. This is the gear that's driven by the indexing motor, and that just slots on there, and it's bolted on, so when the piston pushes and pulls this thing, the whole thing moves, gear included. And at first I thought the keys might be different sizes or something, because this doesn't want to fit around that way. Keys actually and the slots measure the same. It wants to go around that way, so I shall put it back that way, and I've remarked the spot that indicates the position it was in when we took the thing apart. We'll clean this up, clean the rust off of this a bit, and it can go back together. There's the tiniest amount of play on these keys, but there's the big 44mm nut tightens this all up solid, so once that's tight there's going to be no play between this and the spindle. And if we look at how it fits on the plate that the indexing motor is fixed to, come on, get it on straight. there's hardly any wear in this. The tiniest amount of backlash on that gear. So yeah, we'll clean it all up, put it back together. The gear is pretty good. This is a bit of a mess. This is all rusty on here, so we'll clean this up before it goes back together, but that won't have affected the way it was working, I don't believe. And 2 years later, it still misbehaves. It has trouble going from one station to the adjacent one. It likes to skip. So it's on station 1. And select station 2. Yeah, it works. 3. Okay. Skipped 1. Gone straight to 5. 6 is okay. 7's good. 8's good. 9's good. Back to 10, and it's gone straight to 1. When we were running this, first proper run after the rebuild, the program would go 1, 2, 3, and it would go from 1 and it would spin all the way round, do a complete circle to get to 2, and then a complete circle to get to 3. So what I did was I rearranged the tools. So now the program that we're running, let's see, there's a bit of a clonk there. It finishes on tool number 7. So first thing on the next stage we go to 10. Okay. And then 2. This is clonking, it's not warmed up properly. 4. 6. Yeah. And then 8. And then from 8 we go to 1. Yep, good. 5. Yep. And then 7. Back to the end of the program again. So it's still not right, but we can get a result out of it.